Hi everyone. Hi Professor Guardino. My name is Jeffrey Chu. Today I will be discussing the overall process of my primary source research paper number 4. I'd like to first of all thank everyone for a wonderful semester. Um, I definitely had fun participating in our forums and being able to read about taking sides for different pros and cons of issues. Um, and finally, thank you for Professor Guardino for all your help this semester. I definitely appreciate it. Um, just as a reminder, my topic of research is the justification of the Japanese incarceration during World War II. And my thesis is through analyzing the various aspects of the Japanese Americans' incarceration during World War II in California, it should be deemed that the act was not justified, along with the establishment of inequality on this race due to the internment's impact on the Japanese Americans, the effects of the Japanese Americans, and finally the legality of the act. I actually added the part of establishment of inequality because I realized that throughout my paper, I didn't really analyze my thesis thorough in the thorough aspect, and so I hope that by adding that, it'll clarify my paper much more. Um, I actually picked this topic because, once again, from my first primary research paper, um, it relates back to an ethnic studies class that I took in high school, which talked about Asian American studies throughout, I believe, World War I, World War II, and Reconstruction as well. Um, I felt that the Japanese incarceration was truly an act that um, is kept invisible, as is said by my primary source, which is Farewell to Manzanar. I'm not sure if any of you have watched that movie before or read the book. It is truly a wonderful, wonderful source to read. I enjoyed it much more than just watching the movie. I actually read the book. Um, I felt that it really gave me an insight into the horrors of what happened during the internment camps for the Japanese Americans, specifically the Issei and Nisei, I'm sorry, the first and second generation Japanese Americans. Um, Throughout my paper, I actually analyzed the source by discussing, like as suggested, who the audience was for, um, how the author relates her source and his source, since there are two authors for my book, and finally the historical background and also the intent of the book. Um, I talked about cases outside of the source as well, such as the Korematsu versus the Supreme Court case, and also the Hirobayashi versus the United States Supreme Court case, which discussed how certain individuals felt that they should rebel against the Internment Act, and how the Supreme Court looked at this as a justification. And sadly, both cases lost to the Supreme Court, showing that indeed the case seemed to be somewhat unfair, since there are reasons for why the two people in charge of the case, Mr. Hirabayashi and also Mr. Korematsu, had legal reasons of why the act was against violation against, such as the Fifth Amendment and um, so forth. I'm sorry, it's about 12 a.m. and I'm very tired. um, so anyway, I don't want to go too much in depth in my paper because that's for Professor Guardino to read. But anyway, there's pretty much, a gist of what I talked about and how I analyzed my source and how I got my ideas. So anyway, again, I felt I had a wonderful semester with everyone. I hope everyone has a great summer, and good luck on everyone else's finals. I hope to see you guys soon.